Hello, how are you? Welcome to your class for today about menstruation. Now, I know most teenage girls find this a very sensitive topic to talk about, and that is why we need to discuss it. Now, this is part of the model Be Healthy, and let's start our class. So, let's read together. What do you know about menstruation, and where did you receive this information, and from whom? So, I assume that most of you know what menstruation is, or sometimes we call it the period. Now, before I go into details about it and kind of discuss it a little bit more, I'd like to know, what do you know about it? So write this down. Where did you get this information from? And from whom? So maybe you found it on the internet. Maybe you talked to it. Maybe someone told you, a friend. Maybe your mom. Maybe your aunt, maybe so many different possibilities. So please write down, get a paper and a pen and write down your answers. Now, let's read together our next question. Now, list some of the societal perceptions and taboos about menstruation prevalent in our society. So again, I mentioned that this is a very sensitive topic. And because this is a sensitive topic, it becomes what is called a taboo. Taboo meaning that, no, don't talk about the period. No, my God, hide it. Don't say, don't mention it. Nobody should know. So taboo is something that people are embarrassed to talk about, although it is something that is very natural and that happens to every single woman and every single teenager will eventually get her period or have experienced menstruation. So list some of the perceptions or ideas and taboos about menstruation and about the period in our society. What are some of these things that you think are maybe right, maybe wrong? And what do you think about these taboos? Do you think it's right for teenage girls to be, and even sometimes ladies, older ladies, do you think it's right for us to, treat the menstruation and treat the period like it's a complete taboo and that's something that we shouldn't discuss and talk about and that it's not something natural? So let's read together the next point. Should women be prohibited from doing certain things when they are having their menstruation cycle? So do you think that there are some activities or things that women should not be allowed to do and prohibited to do when they are on their periods? Write down your answer. Now, let's read the next question. Where do societal taboos around menstruation stem from? So again, we go back to the fact that it's one of these very sensitive topics that a lot of people do not like to discuss. Why do you think this happened? Where do you think and why do you think this taboo started? And where does it stem from? Where does it originate from? And what are the common problems that women experience during menstruation? So some of the things can be stomach pain, some can be, pimples or acne, some can be a bad mood. What are other things? So that's, physical or mental things. What are, other things that you experience as a teenage girl, or that other girls and other teenage girls experience? I'm not gonna, tell you more ideas because I'd like to hear from you. Now, let's read together. In our community, what or how much do you think young women know about these issues? So do you think that young girls and women know enough about menstruation, about the period, about what to expect, about why it happens to women? Why do women get their periods? Do you think that in our community young women know enough about it? Or is it something that is so taboo and people don't want to discuss it, therefore a lot of people are, and a lot of girls are ignorant about this topic, which is which shouldn't be the case because it's only normal and it's only natural, and every single woman is going to get her period. Now, do you think there is an appropriate age for girls to learn about their body and how to care for it? So do you think there's a certain age at which we go like, okay, you're 12, let's talk about your body. You're 11, okay, now is the time. What do you think is the right age to start talking and discussing with young girls about their periods, about their bodies, how to take care of themselves and their bodies, and what to expect? Now, from where should young women access information about these issues? So where do you think women should understand and learn and access information about these issues? Should it be their families? Should it be the internet, their friends? And what are the possible harms of these? Now, who do you think should provide this information to them? Like I said, do you think it's their parents or their friends, their teachers, their aunts, their whoever? And what do you see as the role of the parent in information sharing and why? Do you think that it's important, very important for the parent to be the one that tells the parents to be the ones that tell their children, whether it's the father or the mother, are they the ones that should be telling their girls about the period and explaining to them what to expect before it happens to them or once it happens to them? Now, to end this topic, I'm just gonna read a part of a story about Paro's mother. Now, once Paro got her period, this is what Paro's mother told her. For the next 3 days, you will not go out of the house to play with your friends. And she told her, do not enter the kitchen. If you come into the kitchen, it will get polluted and I will have to wash it. So this is a part of the story about Paru and her mother and her experience with getting her period. Now, I'd like to hear from you girls and understand, do you agree with this? Do you think it's right? Do you think it's okay for a parent to stop her daughter from playing with her friends just because she has her period? Do you think that once a girl has her period, if she walks into a place, it becomes polluted and they need to wash it? Write down your answers. So this is the end of our session, and thank you very much for listening to me.